Hi everyone, this is seller newsletter number 2 for the fall 2025 sale. Okay, so let's go ahead and work through this. So first off, in this newsletter, even if you don't normally read them, at the top I have some examples of some really good sale item prep. And so those are some really good examples to take a look at to get an idea of how to properly prepare and protect your items for the sale. So I encourage you to look at those pictures just to kind of give you an idea of some that have been done excellent in the past. Okay, so one common question I get is how can I make my items more likely to sell? Obviously you are doing the work of putting your items in the sale, and so you want them to sell. And so ultimately there's no hard and fast rhyme or reason to it all the time, but I can give you some tips that are going to help you. One big thing is clean equals green. Okay, so some things, first off, we can't take things that are stained, excessively dirty, things like that. So if it's like an outdoor toy, you can tell it's been outside, that's okay, but it needs to be cleaned up. I shouldn't have like dirt that I can see on it. And keeping in mind that even if it is something that is going to be used to that extent, people need to be able to visualize giving this to their child to use, and that's harder to do if the item is not pristine. So to put the time in, really get that item clean and looking good. Keeping in mind stained clothing gets pulled from the floor. Again, items that are super dirty get pulled from the floor, so those just cannot be sold. But really making sure items look clean and presentable goes a long way to selling them. There is a link in there that that's the most helpful post I have found as far as getting stains out. So I know sometimes it's really frustrating, especially like little hot tip is that like spit up stains tend to not appear until some time has passed. And so you might have put away some pristine, clean onesies. You pull them back out and you notice some yellow staining around the neck. So please make sure you're watching for those because they appear over time. And so that post gives you some ideas of how you can get rid of those stains, because I know it's frustrating when you have really nice clothes that other than a stain would be great to pass on to somebody else. That post will help give you ideas of how to get those stains out so that you can go ahead and sell them. Make sure if the item is electronic, we don't technically require that you put batteries in it, but do know that people are really unlikely to buy something that they can't test out. And so definitely put batteries in it if you can. You can just get cheap ones, just, you know, to give them enough power to get through the sale. And then that way people know what they're buying. And then just of course price your item accordingly if that's going to be a hindrance. Speaking of pricing, pricing is a huge thing about whether or not an item sells. So I always say that the great thing about our sale is that you get to price your items. One of the hardest things about our sale is that you get to price your items. So I know it can be challenging, especially if you've never been to our sale before, to get an idea of what to sell your items at. I have linked a pricing guide that's super helpful to give you an idea of starting off points. With larger items, we typically say start at 30% of retail price, so whatever the item would realistically sell for. So we're not talking about like Kohl's regular price, because we all know that's not a regular price, but like what you could pick this item up if you went to Target today to go buy it or something like that, 30% of that price. And then you can go up a little bit if it's an item that's in pristine, perfect condition, and go down a little bit if it's got lots of life left, but it's definitely been used. Just kind of think about what's realistic for what somebody's going to pay for that item. Something that is important to remember is that we just, because of the state of the economy and just people feeling it in their pocketbooks, it's really important to remember that people come to our sale looking for good deals. So if they see items that they are not going to, that aren't going to save them that much money, they are not going to buy it. They want really good deals. They come to our sale looking for good deals. So you are losing out on sales if you are overpricing your items. Also just keep in mind, it can be really hard to put a price on things that have sentimental value, especially, you know, that item that you really have good memories of your child using, but you're ready to pass on. It might be really hard to price it subjectively. So just objectively. So just really try to take a step back, maybe even ask friends what they would price it at, what they would buy that item at. Just really try to look at it objectively so that you price it at a price people are willing to pay for the item. Remember that some categories are just going to be tough sells. Really specific items, you've got to have the right buyer for it. So, you know, we work really hard to get those items to sell, but, you know, unless the right buyer comes in ready to buy, it's a little trickier. So keeping in mind, outdoor toys are a great seller. Make sure you get those items entered. Strollers, baby gear, car seats, things like that tend to be really good sell through. You know, just keeping in mind that if it's a more specialty item, it might be harder to sell, but you're welcome to continue to go ahead and bring it because we get those buyers all the time. Appointments, make sure that you have made your drop-off and pickup appointments. So everybody needs a drop-off appointment. So this is when you're going to bring your items and put them away at the sale. Pickup appointments, you do not need one if you are donating all your unsold items. So if you are not planning to pick up any of your unsold items, you do not need to make a a pickup appointment. But everybody needs a drop-off appointment. If you know that you're going to have a huge number of items and you think you're going to have to make 2 trips, go ahead and make 2 drop-off appointments. Okay, so speaking of donation, so one thing that we're really proud of is that we offer opportunities to donate items that don't sell, and we're really kind of picky about how we donate those items because we understand that these we are a community sale and we want these items to benefit the community. And so what we do, it's really cool, is we do an after sale party where folks that are referred to us by local organizations can come and shop for their kids at no cost. And so it gives those families an opportunity to shop for their kids without it costing them anything. And we're really proud of that. There's always items that are left over from that, and so we have a wonderful partnership with Toys for Manhattan. She comes and picks everything up, even the items that Toys for Manhattan won't use, because Judy has great connections in the community, knowing what organizations around here are looking for specific needs. So I really encourage you to consider donating items that are unsold, because we love to be able to support those community programs. One final super important thing is that volunteer sign up opens this Saturday. We do not require sellers to volunteer, but we strongly encourage it, especially if you're a new seller. The best way to really become a better seller is to volunteer, see how the sale works, see other items, that kind of stuff. And remember that volunteers get to shop before sellers. So, and you would then get to share your seller pre-sale pass with somebody else. And so you can actually do that right in your consignor workstation. You don't need to create a separate account. So you just go to your consignor workstation and there should be a volunteer to work spot in there that you can choose your shift. That starts Saturday at 9 a.m. is when those spots will open up. Okay, I think that's it. If you are new, if you registered before last Wednesday and did not get the seller newsletter number 1, that is linked in this newsletter so that you can go back and read that. Of course, as always, let us know if you have any questions, and happy tagging.